Alright, I'm Bullseye Ben. I was wanting to talk about the whole Sig P320 issue. As a former service member who loved the Beretta, I don't know why they switched from the Beretta to M9 anyways, but the Sig P320, aka M17, has had some issues. And I think there's three sides to this, I believe, or three types of people. There's the Sig shillers, Sig lovers, Sig fanboys, if you will. Then you have the Sig haters. They hate Sig. They don't anything that's not a Glock or whatever. They hate it. They think, everybody's got their biases. And then you have the people that just want the truth. Just want, hey, is this a safe gun? And they want to wade through all the BS and want to wade through those other two people. So, here's what I understand. I'm not a Sig shill. I never really liked Sig, but I'm not a Sig hater. So from what I understand is that the FBI found that there is a flaw in the FCU of the Sig P320 fire control unit. So what that means is that there's a shelf that it can get caught on, the trigger mechanism, everything that makes the gun fire. After pulling around, it can get stuck. And it doesn't look like it's stuck. The trigger resets, everything looks normal on the outside. But it's as if the trigger was decompressed enough on that wall to where it bypasses the safety. And we've all seen the videos of people manipulating the slide with the trigger decompressed but not all the way pulled, and it goes off. I think in rare circumstances, the fire control unit is hit that shelf where it's where as if the trigger was decompressed and all the way, but where it bypasses the striker safety, to where, unless that shelf is hung up on the trigger, and the slide's manipulated to where it causes it to fire. It's because I've seen Glocks will do it. Every gun will fire with the trigger decompressed. Even though it's not all the way, you can still manipulate the slide and get it to fire. So it's pretty much all striker fired pistols. So my conclusion, from what I understand, is that along with the manufacturing defects of the FCU of the Sig P320, this is from the FBI. It has a flaw to where in the FCU there's a shelf that the FCU can get caught on, to where it bypasses all the safeties and everything, and it's as if the trigger was decompressed from the last time it was fired, to where it's hung up on that. Trigger resets, but the internals, it's in the position as if it was in the motion, because it's hung up on that shelf. So any manipulation will cause it to fire at who knows when. That's why you have Sig P320s going off when they're sat on a desk, going off in holsters. It's because they're caught on that shelf, and the slide manipulation from whether it be in the holster or wherever is causing it to go off. So I think you have people that are either going too extreme one way or the other. It's a combination of what the FBI found and what all striker fires do is, they're on that wall, bypass the safety, manipulate the slide, they're going to go off. That's from what I know. I'm not hating on Sig, but they gotta get that FCU fixed. I don't own any Sigs. My dad's owned them. I've shot them before. They're decent, whatever. I know a lot of people have said that never had any issues with them, but the thing is, it just takes one, and we've had deaths from it, and no telling how many other people. Appendix carry it, and it goes off, and it makes them a eunuch. That sucks. We don't need that. So if you do carry Sig, I would just recommend to always, especially the P320s, to always, take into account it's got that shelf. Make sure internals are all reset. It's off that shelf, because you never know. And it's a rare. I know it's a they tried to fix it with the upgrade trigger and everything. Oh, that they were trying to say for the drop test that the trigger was too heavy and it was being decompressed when it hit with gravity, the inertia causing it to go off in the drop test. But that's not. I don't know. Like, yeah, the trigger might be too heavy, but it shouldn't do that. There should be a certain poundage. I doubt the trigger weighs enough to cause enough poundage of inertia to make that trigger come down. 3.5 minimum is usually the standard as far as light triggers goes. 3.5, or Glocks usually are 6-pound stock, just for that added safety. And again, they did a voluntary trigger upgrade, saying we're not at fault, there's no issue, but here you go, you can upgrade this if you want, even though there's no issue. I think there's an issue. Also, I remember hearing people talk that worked at Sig. This is from them. They're not worth it anymore, but they were literally taking the triggers, shaving off weight, testing it, and just to get the right weight so the trigger wouldn't decompress on the drop. So there's been multiple issues. I wouldn't trust it, and I'm not a Sig hater, and I'm not a Sig shill. I'm just saying I wouldn't trust it. It's something that's this serious, this powerful, and you want something that's reliable, and to protect you, but not also you don't want something to hurt you. Just to take into account. And this is kind of a long-winded video, 6 minutes. I'll try and shave it down, but probably not. You're gonna get the raw. You're gonna get the raw footage. But I'm Bullseye Ben. Like and subscribe. I don't usually do these kind of impromptu rambles about the media portraying. And apparently, there's been somebody arrested in the airman's death. Unfortunate event, but with everything going on, I think it's because I don't think it was his. I think somebody else sat their hand on his gun and it still went off, but I don't think somebody deliberately shot him. I think it was just Sig's wanting somebody to blame. They have a contract with the military. They're out for blood. They don't want all this ramifications back on Sig, because really they're in fear of losing their contract. I think Glock's trying to pick them up right now. Glock has made a statement that they're going to be the COA, the COA, is no longer going to be available for civilian market. They're going to be delivering to military. They didn't say which military, but there's been talk about that. So I think Sig is really worried, and they're wanting whoever helped them secure that military contract, which is kind of weird. How not only did Sig require their pistol, rifle, and other, they even got the military to switch out going from the 5.56 to 6.8 by 51. What? Why? Just 308 is way better. We already had 308 in the military. Anyways, there's been a lot of shady stuff. I think there needs to be an investigation and accountability. I think the situation with Sig's, negligence and their cutting corners is going to open up a bigger can of worms for the company. I foresee a huge investigation, them losing their contract with the military, and some other stuff. Now, this is just my opinion. I'm not I'm not trying to slander or defame any company or anything. I'm just saying this is probably what they're worried about. This is what I would be worried about if I had a contract with the military, and it's a big contract, millions and millions of dollars for the next 10 years. So I think Sig is trying to fix it as quickly as possible, trying to hush everything down, find somebody to blame for their airman's death that's not pointing fingers all at Sig. And yeah, I think that's the situation that's going on right now. But you guys just determine whether I'm just BS and I'm just a normal guy, military veteran sitting in his garage making a video. What I think it's a combination of events and circumstances that has led to this. Again, my condolences to the airmen that unfortunately, died as a result of whatever the issue caused it. Let's just hope that there's not any more injury or deaths in the future. With that, I'll get off here. I'm Bullseye Ben. Always be packing. Don't get caught lacking. I'll see you in the next one.